This is Ham College Episode 8 for August 31st, 2015. Ham College is brought to you by Icom and the D-Star QSO Party September 18th through 20th, 2015, and by hamstudy.org, a great place to study for your amateur license exam. Hi, welcome to Ham College Episode 8. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
And we've got a fun show lined up for you tonight. We're going to do a little bit different than we've done before. We're going to show radios, but we're going to do more with them than just key up and listen to them whistle.
Yeah, we've got, we normally do a history lesson, but we're not going to do a history lesson this time since on our question pool, we're kind of at the end of the frequency section. And we want to try to wrap that up, so we're going to do something in context with the frequencies. But I think you guys will enjoy it.
I think you will. First, before we get into that, though, let's just mention a couple of things here. Anytime that we're doing an episode of Amateur Logic or Ham College, we've got a chat room going on here. You can join us at AmateurLogic.TV/chat, but that's only when we're actually shooting and streaming live.
Right. A lot of you, or not a lot of you, but some of you are over on the live stream chat on YouTube. If you're there, we can't monitor that one. Come over to this chat room so you can participate with the rest of them. We've got a pretty good crowd in there this evening. So.
We do. We've got a nice crowd in there, and they are having a big time too. We were talking about me drilling an antenna hole in my new mobile.
Or me drilling a hole in his new mobile.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen. There might be a hole drilled, but if it is, he's not going to do it. We'll find a...
I'm not feeling the trust here.
I'm not either. I think that's the problem. What did we talk about last time, Tommy? Do you remember?
Radio waves.
Radio waves. That's right. Also, we did something else. We showed RF on a scope.
Yep, and more radio waves.
That looks just like a sine wave there.
Yeah.
And in fact, it is.
Yeah, sure. Just a different frequency.
Yep. A much higher frequency than an audio sine wave. But, you know, a wave is a wave, whether it's an audio frequency or whether it's an RF frequency. The majority of them are all sine waves. Now, there could be, you know, different waveforms for different types of modulation.
Since we're finishing up frequencies, we're going to talk about band plans and frequencies. And since last time we touched on the band plan, I guess that was last month, wasn't it? We had the band plan chart up there. Anyway, it's a pretty important topic, so I wanted to bring it up one more time since we're kind of finishing up that section. The ARRL definition of a band plan is that a band plan refers to a voluntary division of a band to avoid interference between incompatible modes. So it's every amateur's responsibility to know his or her privileges for their license class. This means the bands and modes that you're licensed for. The privileges for a technician class that we've been working towards on this show are as follows.
You know, I never realized that we had those privileges. I knew we had some CW privileges on HF, but I didn't realize we had that many bands.
If you look at it, it's just a tiny, tiny little sliver of it. But
it is.
But yeah. It's quite a bit. And we've got 10 meters and 6 meters and a lot of good stuff that you can do just with the entry-level license. With each of these bands you're allowed to operate in, there are slices that are allocated to different modes. Some are for data, CW, phone, or voice, and etc. Always refer to a current band plan chart that can be downloaded from the ARRL site or the Icom site. While it's typically not illegal to do so, you may draw some unwelcome QSOs if you go down near a frequency used for APRS and start rag chewing with your friends or something. So follow the band plan rules and be courteous ham.
Yeah.
Another thing we wanted to touch on is calling frequencies. We've mentioned it a few times, but never really went into what it is. A calling frequency is commonly known frequency used to initiate a contact or a QSO. After your contact's made, it's suggested that you move or QSY to another frequency to carry on your conversation and free up the calling frequency for someone else to use to make a contact.
And that doesn't always happen. You'll hear a lot of people on that 2 meter calling frequency there. Just
ragged you.
Just ragged you and just hanging out.
Yeah, but that's it's a suggestion, but that's typically the courteous thing to do.
Yeah, I think you go to
for.
some of the other bands like 6 meters and all, and they really observe that. They do try to move off to another frequency somewhere.
Right. So a lot of people use the calling frequencies when they're traveling to monitor for traffic or ask questions about the local area when you're going through, where to find fuel or different things like that. For instance, if you're mobile driving across country, you may go from repeater to repeater, but if someone's not available or you don't have a repeater directory with you, a lot of times you just listen to like 146.52, which is the national calling frequency for 2 meters.
That's what we listened to when we were going to Huntsville the other weekend.
Yeah, we actually heard a few people on there when we were going through Alabama. Anyway, most people monitor that 2 meter frequency, and it's also good in case there's an emergency. You don't have a repeater, you can call for help there if that's your only means.
Yeah.
While a lot of fun can be had on all these bands, it's a technician class license holder. Most of you will spend the most of your time on 2 meters or 70 centimeters. They're the most popular for local communications. Anyway, they're useful for things like storm spotting, weather nets, and even APRS network is on that one as well. One of the bands that you'll have privileges to is 6 meters. A lot of times that's referred to as a magic band. And anyway, you can kind of get a taste of HF there, because if you get a band opening, you can easily talk across country or, even to another country from 6 meters.
Yeah, although that is VHF, I think.
It falls in the VHF band technically, but it's got some, if you get your band opening, it's a lot like HF.
Oh, it is, yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I have not worked a lot of 6 meters, although I've been a ham for a long time now.
Yeah, I've done it off and on. I wouldn't say a lot, but I take spurts hanging around there.
Yeah, I really don't have up an antenna for 6 meters, and that's my fault. I should get something up there, because it is, like you say, the magic band when it's working. It's
a lot of fun. A lot of people have just dedicated 6 meter rigs and work nothing but that. But
if you're a technician, this could be a very good band. It's not one you'll use all the time, because when it's not working, it's really
if it's not working, it's pretty dead. But if you catch even a little band opening, it's a lot of fun. And I'll be honest with you, you'll catch one of those and kind of get your feet wet in the HF type thing, and you'll kind of get the fever.
So if I'm a technician, I did see we had all those areas there where we could work CW, but if I'm a technician, I probably have not learned Morse code yet.
You probably weren't interested in learning that.
Yeah.
That's probably not good to say, but I really don't care much about CW.
And some people do, and with some people it's one of their favorite modes.
It's good, and a lot of people enjoy it.
So if you're a technician and you haven't learned the Morse code, then if you had an HF radio, there's really 2 bands then that you're going to be interested in, and that's 10 meters, and also, although 6 meters is technically a VHF, that's going to be on most HF radios these days.
Yeah, it's on pretty much every one of them that I can think of.
So that is some area that you could use an HF radio for, even though you really don't have extensive privileges.
Yeah. So, but if you're pretty much everybody's going to want to. I think most everybody's going to want to upgrade at some point. So, if you can afford it, look at getting an HF radio where you can play with some of these other bands. This technician class life isn't just relegated to 2 meters. So there's a lot more out there, I guess, was the point of this whole thing.
And you were talking about 10 meters a little earlier. That's right next to 11 meters, duh, but 11 meters...
It's only 1 meter off.
Yeah. 11 meters is CB, and if you have any experience with that, then you know that typically it's kind of short distance, but when the band opens up, you know, or what do they call it? When it skip.
When the skip's rolling in.
When the skip's rolling in, oh man, you know, it really goes a long way. That's the way 10 meters is. And a lot of amateurs have taken old CB gear on 11 meters and converted it over to 10 meter use. And, you know, a lot of people use that on 10 meters.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of fun stuff out there to do. You know, when you get your technician license, do some exploring.
Yeah, use that technician license. I mean, there are a lot of people that are getting into amateur radio. They get their technician license and then they immediately upgrade to general. Some even take it at the same time. But enjoy your technician privileges. You know, we've said that a lot, but you know, really, you can have a lot of fun as a technician. And you know, I wouldn't say, you know, go straight for general or extra and get on HF. Yeah, you can. That's fine. But if you never do 2 meters and 440, you're missing a big part of ham radio.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot of fun in all the bands.
All the bands. Tommy, you know, last time we said we were going to give away something on the next episode, and this is the next episode.
Boy, it came up already, huh? Seems like it's only been about a month.
You're right. I think you are right.
All right. So what are we going to give away?
Well, I think we're going to give this away right here.
This stylish shirt and cap again.
And see, is that? Could you have worn that one?
No.
No.
So it's your lucky day. I'm not wearing this one, and it's still being given away. So
yeah,
it's a nice shirt.
An Icom Ham Crew shirt. And we've also got the matching Icom hat.
Yep.
To go with it.
So one day they're going to come up with some Icom shoes, and we're going to give some of those away to go with it. Mm-hmm. Be Icom from top to bottom.
So what we're going to need to do now is draw a lucky winner for this. We had people send in their entries to hamcollege@AmateurLogic.TV. I can't even remember, did we ask them a question or did we just say email us?
I think we just emailed on this one.
Okay. And here's our lucky winner. I don't know if he's in the chat room or not. He may be in there. Let's see.
Oh, yeah. He hangs out on the Facebook group all the time.
Yeah. Well,
I'll be.
I don't think he's in the chat room, but hey, congratulations, Dennis Casey, KC1BHS.
Yeah, congratulations, Dennis.
We're going to send you the stylish Icom cap.
You'll be the best looking ham at the next Ham Fest, along with the people wearing the Amateur Logic swag too.
I like how you said that.
Yeah,
you know that?
one of the best dressed hams there.
Yeah, yep. You can wear either one of those items and be a best dressed ham. Yeah. All right, congratulations, and I tell you what, you know, this was a lot of fun. Why don't we do it next month?
What are we going to give away?
Well, let's give away the same thing.
Dennis might not like that.
We're not going to give away the one Dennis won. What we're doing is we've got one hat and one shirt. Between the two of us, we were fighting over it before the show tonight. Anyway, Icom's going to ship him one.
Oh, awesome.
So we'll just let them know that Dennis won.
Great, awesome.
They'll ship it out. And we'll do that again next month. So if you'd like to win an Icom cap and a T-shirt, well, send us an email to hamcollege@AmateurLogic.TV, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just do a random drawing, and whoever comes up wins. Mark your calendars. You're invited to the biggest D-Star QSO party. Talk to the world by connecting through D-Star repeaters around the globe. D-Star QSO Party 2015 is this month from September 18th through 20th. D-Star continues to help amateur radio grow. It's an exciting technology that introduces new people to the hobby. It's high-speed communication and digital voice that's crystal clear. And the D-Star QSO Party is a great way to develop camaraderies with amateurs all over the world. Communicate through as many D-Star repeaters as possible throughout the world. Make contacts with D-Star stations and amateurs. Work as many foreign countries as possible to increase your chance to win. And get bonus points for including GPS position data and communications distance in your log. 10 qualified participants will be randomly selected to win an Asus MemoPad 7. For complete party details and instructions on how to submit your log, visit Icom America's amateur landing page. Then join the D-Star QSO 2015 party September 18th through 20th. Good luck, and make sure you visit IcomAmerica.com/amateur for more information on the 2015 D-Star QSO party. All right, first question for the night. Let's see, I'll read this one. What frequency range is referred to as HF? A, 300 to 3000 megahertz.
B, 30 to 300 megahertz.
C, 3 to 30 megahertz.
Or D, 300 to 3000 kilohertz.
Okay. I read the question. That means
I get to answer it?
That means you get to answer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know 300 that's even up above VHF. It's going to be, I'm going to go with C, 3 to 30. 30, earlier we were talking about 6 meters actually being in VHF, and that's 50 megahertz, so that's going to probably be B. And I'm going to go with C.
All right, you think it's C, 3 to 30 megahertz.
Yes.
I think you're right. And
that's my final answer.
That is your final answer, okay. Well, you know, these are going to be some of those type of questions that you're just going to have to kind of remember the answer to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of these frequency ones are just going to be like that. So just going to have to study them. And generally, if you'll learn 1 or 2 of those ranges, you'll be able to reason out the rest of them.
Yeah.
But learn all of them. But, I mean, you can do that.
And one thing that's interesting, all these separations between HF and VHF and all that, at least that part, there were 3s. The numbers are 3s. So, yeah, let's see if you're right, Tommy. I think you are. There you go. What's going on? But yeah, you're just going to kind of have to remember what we've got. Super low frequencies. I don't think those will be on the exam. I don't recall seeing anything listed as super low frequency. I don't recall them,
especially on the technician exam.
Yeah. There are low frequencies that are way down there, but I don't recall seeing them on here either. Then we've got what's called medium wave. That's AM broadcast.
Yeah.
And above that, we've got HF starting 3 megahertz to 30 megahertz. So technically, the 160 meter band is not HF. Is that correct?
I guess not.
That's medium
According
wave.
to this, it wouldn't be.
According to this, it wouldn't be because it's like around 1800 kilohertz. So.
Right, 1.8.
Yep.
What are the frequency limits of the VHF spectrum? A, 30 to 300 kilohertz.
B, 30 to 300 megahertz.
C, 300 to 3000 kilohertz.
And D, 300 to 3000 megahertz.
Okay, it's your turn.
It's my turn. Well, I know it's not 300 to 3000 megahertz. Answer D there, because that's going to be on up there ways.
It's going to be UHF.
Yep. C, 300 to 3000 kilohertz. So that's 300 kilohertz to 3 megahertz if I transpose it. So no, that's not VHF. 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. Well, let's see. HF went up to 30 megahertz. VHF is the next band. I'm gonna say that's it, Tommy. It's gonna be B.
Is that your final answer?
Well, let me just say A. That's way too low. So yeah, it's gonna be B. Let's see if I'm right.
You're right.
And everybody in the chat room was correct too. It looks like Dave N3NTV is kind of He's got a stuck key, or he's repeating himself there.
He's really happy that it's B.
He is. All right, next question here. Which frequency is within the 6 meter band? A, 49 megahertz.
B, 52.525 megahertz.
C, 28.5 megahertz.
Or D, 222.15 megahertz. And this one is mine. And the only way that I know to do this one is, I think it's 300 divided by the frequency in megahertz will get you the meters.
Okay.
And if you do the math on those, B is going to get you about 5.75, which is going to round you up to 6 meters. So I'm going to go with B.
Now, did you just figure all that out on the fly, sitting right here?
I'm that good.
Oh, man. Well, let's see.
I actually remember that.
Let's just kind of narrow it down here, though, if you didn't know that. Well, if you looked at D, 222.15 megahertz, that's way above 6 meters.
Yep.
All right. C, 28.5 megahertz. Well, that's down.
That's in the HF band. We just talked about that.
Yep. And that's actually, that's around 10 meters. So it's either got to be A or B, because I remember that the 6 meter band is right around 50 megahertz.
Yeah, and 49 megahertz is where you run your remote control race car.
Yep. So that's
Leaves
a little
one
too
answer.
low. Yep. So it's got to be B. Well, let's see.
B.
Okay, next question.
Which amateur band are you using when your station is transmitting on 146.52 megahertz? A, the 2 meter band.
B, the 20 meter band.
C, 14 meter band.
Or D, the 6 meter band.
Yeah.
Well,
If you were paying attention earlier, we actually said exactly this.
yep. We actually gave it away.
Sure did. Didn't even realize we were going to.
Now, I notice everybody in the chat room is saying A. Well, one of them said ah, but I think he meant A. So let's see. Well, I'll start at the bottom. D, 6 meter band.
It must all be from Canada.
Yeah.
A.
So it's not D, 6 meter band. Remember we just talked about that.
Yeah, we
That's
just
down
did
around
that.
50 megahertz.
Mm-hmm.
So C, 14 meter band. No, I don't think so.
No.
That
B.
it's still too high frequency for that. B, 20 meter band.
You can still do that same math. 300 times the frequency will give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see what that comes up to.
So you got your calculator handy there. Let's just see what it comes up to.
It's actually 300 divided by 146.52.
That's
Two-
it.
2.04.
Yep.
2
So,
meters.
2 meters. A, 2 meter band, which is, we knew it was 2 meter band because
Because we talk on that one all the time.
Yeah.
Or we listen to it when we travel.
Yep. But that's where the 2 meter band is. That's one you'll particularly be interested in as a technician, because that's where most of your talking
And
will
that
be.
and that's actually the calling frequency we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. So there we go. Hey, 2 meter band.
Way to go.
All right, on to the next question here. What is the national calling frequency for FM simplex operation in the 70 centimeter band?
Okay. A, 146.52 megahertz.
B, 145 megahertz.
C, 432.100 megahertz.
Or D, 446.000 megahertz.
Well, 70 centimeters. We know, we just went through this, the figuring out what was 2 meters. So we know A and B are not going to be in the 70 centimeter band because we just determined they were in 2 meters.
Yeah, those are 2 meters.
Okay, so that leaves C and D. And the only way I know to know this one is just to know it.
Yeah.
And I do know the answer just because I've been hammed. It's a ham and it's 446. It's D.
Well, let's see, because I don't remember the answer to this one. But
you don't know the calling frequency?
I don't know the calling frequency. No, but I notice everybody in the chat room here is saying that it's D. Well, we got a C there. It's either C or D, Tommy.
I'm going with D.
You're going to stay with that, okay? I was really thinking C, but let's see.
Okay.
It is D. You got that one. What can you say? It's just one you had to remember.
Yeah, it's just like 146.52. You just know that one.
Are you new to the ham world or an existing amateur operator who wants to take your license to the next level? Study for your radio license exam at hamstudy.org. Hamstudy.org is a free online learning tool powered by Icom. It was created by Richard Bateman, KD7BBC, Michael Stufflebean, KV9G, and Rich Porter, KK6GKE, and it uses a modern web design to enhance the experience of studying for your technician, general, and amateur extra exams. Since 2013, hamstudy.org has helped new and existing hams to familiarize themselves with the question pools, use stats-based flashcards to focus on material they need to learn, and take practice exams to gauge progress. Visit hamstudy.org on your desktop computer or mobile device. Register for a free account at hamstudy.org to access personalized study history and other site features. Prepare for an exam in an intuitive and comprehensive manner. Check out hamstudy.org, powered by Icom, for free learning tools. Good luck on your next exam.
Which 70 centimeter frequency is authorized to a technician class license holder operating in ITU Region 2? A. 53.350 megahertz.
B. 146.520 megahertz.
C. 443.350 megahertz.
Or D. 222.520 megahertz. And it's mine to answer, so I think we can rule this out pretty quickly. I don't think, and it will in some cases, but I don't think on this question what ITU region you're in makes a hell of beans difference, because they're wanting to know a 70 centimeter frequency. Well, A, 53.350 megahertz, that's a 6 meter frequency.
That's right.
That's way down.
Mm.
So it can't be that. B, 146.520 megahertz. Can't be that. That's 2 meters.
We just determined that a few minutes ago.
Yep. C, 443.350 megahertz. That's going to be my answer. Because D, 222.520 megahertz, that's not in the 70 centimeter band. So there's only one 70 centimeter frequency listed there.
How do you know 222 is not in the 70 centimeter band?
Because if I did 300 divided by 222.520, it wouldn't be 70.
Right.
Right. All right, everyone here is saying C in the chat room, so everyone knows this. There you go, 443.350 megahertz.
Another job well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next question, which of the following is a result of the fact that the amateur radio service is secondary in some portions of the 70 centimeter band? A, U.S. amateurs may find non-amateur stations in the band and must avoid interfering with them.
B, U.S. amateurs must give foreign amateur stations priority in those portions.
C, international communications are not permitted on 70 centimeters.
Or D, digital transmissions are not permitted in 70 centimeters. And I guess this is my turn.
Mm-hmm.
And D is not going to be it. You can do digital in 70 centimeters.
Yeah, I'll agree.
C, international communications are not permitted. That's kind of irrelevant.
Oh, well,
The
I think
question
they are
was-
permitted.
Yeah, yeah, and it's irrelevant anyway to the question that says which of the following is a result of the fact that the amateur service is secondary in some portions. So B, U.S. amateurs must give foreign stations. I think it's A, U.S. amateurs may find non-amateur stations in the bands and must avoid interfering with them. So we are secondary on several bands, at several portions of several bands, and that's exactly what it means. If one of those that have higher priority by the FCC are on there, then we're supposed to yield to them and let them have it.
I think I'll agree with you. Let's see. And you're correct, it is A. U.S. amateurs may find non-amateur stations in the band and must avoid interfering with them.
Right.
I think maybe this has been a problem out in California. Didn't they have to vacate some 70 centimeter
Yeah, I
frequencies?
seem to remember
because of-
something about that a while back.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact case, but
I don't remember actually hearing any non-amateur stuff on 70 centimeters or on
around here.
UHF. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not that populated here, so.
yeah, yep. All right, next question.
Which 23 centimeter frequency is authorized to a technician class licensee? A, 2,315 megahertz.
B, 1296 megahertz.
C, 3,390 megahertz.
Or D, 146.52 megahertz. That D just keeps coming up, doesn't it?
It does.
And let's see, this is mine to answer. So
I'm glad you got this one.
I know it's not D because that's a 2 meter frequency.
Mm-hmm.
All right, C, 3390 megahertz. That's going to be 3.39 gigs. I don't think that's the 23 centimeter band.
I don't think so.
B, 1296 megahertz. I think that's going to be the answer right
That's
there.
what I think.
Or A, 2315 megahertz. Now, I don't think that's it, but
Most everybody in the chat room's going with B.
they are. All right, I think I'll go. To my calculator and just prove this to myself. 300 divided by, what would that be?
1,296.
Yep, 1,296. Just enter it directly. 20.231.
That's
so
23
that's 23
centimeters.
centimeters.
That's right on the money.
Yep.
That's why taking that calculator, when you go to take your test, taking that calculator can really help you a lot.
It can help you a lot.
And incidentally, you can only take a basic simple calculator. You cannot take a programmable one in there when you go to take your exam.
That's a good point. So let's see if we're right there. Yep. 1296 megahertz, B.
Yep. The math doesn't lie.
Math doesn't lie, usually.
Yeah.
It lied to me a little bit when I was in high school. But, all right, let's move on to the next question here. What must you do if you're operating on the 23 centimeter band and learn that you're interfering with a radio location station outside the United States?
A, stop operating or take steps to eliminate the harmful interference.
B, nothing, because the band is allocated exclusively to the amateur service.
C, establish contact with the radio location station and ask them to change frequency.
Or D, change to CW mode because this would not likely cause interference.
Okay, so I think this is just a common sense question right here. So I'm going to go with A, stop operating or take steps to eliminate the interference. If you're operating and you're interfering with a radio location station outside of the United States, I'm not even sure how you would know that you were interfering with them, but I guess you would somehow. In this instance, clearly.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you would know either, but I guess
somebody
I guess you
knew.
could be. Well, we know for sure it's not going to be D. I mean, if you're interfering with somebody, changing to CW, that's not going to stop it. C,
Establish contact with the radio location station. Ask them to change frequency.
no, I think they probably have priority over us.
Nothing, because this band is allocated exclusively to the amateur service.
No.
And that's 1.2 gigahertz. I know there are other things that share that one.
Yep.
So I mean, it's got to be A. That's the only one that makes sense. So some of these are just common sense things. I'm hoping that.
That's it. You're correct.
I had a little more common sense than my mom said I did.
I think so. In your own mind.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go to the next one here.
Which of the bands above 30 megahertz that are available to technician class operators have mode restricted subbands? A, the 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter bands.
B, the 2 meter and 13 centimeter bands.
C, the 6 meter, 2 meter, and 1.25 meter bands.
Or D, the 2 meter and 70 centimeter bands. All right, I'm going to have to look over that one again. Which of the bands above 30 megahertz that are available to technician class operators have mode restricted subbands?
This one I honestly don't know, but I have a hunch on it, but I don't know that I'm sure.
So I believe what they're saying here is switch band above 30 megahertz. So that means it's not going to be an HF band. Has a mode restricted subband. That means a part of that band
that you can
only run certain
modes in. Mm-hmm.
All right. 6 meter, 2 meter, and 70 centimeter band. B, 2 meter and 13 centimeter band. I'm not even sure what 13 centimeters is right off. That's going to be on up there pretty good. C, the 6 meter, 2 meter, and 1.25 meter band. Or D, the 2 meter and 70 centimeter bands. Boy, you know, I really don't know the answer to this one, Tommy.
I think it's. Can I give my hunch? I think it's A.
You think it's A?
Yeah, and the only reason I say that is because when I was looking at that band plan, I seem to remember seeing that on those 3 bands.
Well, I'm glad that you cleared that up for us.
But I don't know that it's the right answer, but I think it's right.
That's what the brave souls in the chat room are saying. No.
Oh, wow. See?
C, the 6 meter, 2 meter, and 1.25 meter bands.
Wow. Almost everybody missed it except Charles.
Well, let me ask you a question. What is the 1.25 meter band?
220 megahertz.
222 megahertz, yeah. I was going to guess D on this one. But
You should have said you were going to guess C, man.
But I don't feel
You missed the opportunity.
I don't feel so bad because you were wrong and everybody in the chat room was wrong. Nobody got this one.
Yeah, it's tough. Some of these you just have to memorize them, learn them.
Yep.
Which we clearly didn't.
Which emission modes are permitted in the mode restricted subbands at 50 to 50.1 megahertz and 144.0 to 144.1 megahertz? A, CW only.
B, CW and RTTY.
C, SSB only.
Or D, CW and SSB.
So what do you think?
Well, that's just a small sliver of the spectrum right there, and I'm thinking it's going to be A.
I think you're right because it's at the very bottom of those bands, and typically that's where we see CW on our band plans.
And that's the same portion that the technician had on the band plan. And the same little sliver in the other, like up in 80 and so forth.
Well, let's find out. There you go.
Lucky guess.
It was A. It was kind of pandemonium there in the chat room. We had some A's and B's.
No, we were all over the place.
Yep. Running willy-nilly through the alphabets.
Yeah.
Anyway, A.
Well, that's fun. That was kind of fun to go back, refresh that.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to the next one here.
Which emission may be used between 219 and 220 megahertz? A. Spread spectrum.
B, data.
C. SSB voice.
Or D, fast scan TV. Boy, these are good.
Yeah, I'm glad you got this one.
I know you are. I didn't even know we could operate between 219 and 220 megahertz, much less what mode. A, spread spectrum. B, data. C, SSB
You want to use
voice.
your phone a friend, or
Phone a friend?
you never watched Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
No. What's a fifth grader? Okay, just here's another one, Tommy. I haven't studied. I don't think it's spread spectrum. I don't think it's data. I wouldn't think SSB voice, and I wouldn't think fast scan TV. But I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to say fast scan TV. I'm probably going to be wrong though. We got B's and C's both in the chat room.
I think it's B.
You think it's data? Well, let's find out. You're right. You got it. What can I say? What is a band plan beyond the privileges established by the FCC? A, a voluntary guideline for using different modes or activities within an amateur band.
B, a mandated list of operating schedules.
C, a list of scheduled net frequencies.
Or D, a plan devised by a club to indicate frequency band usage.
All right. So what do
Okay.
you think?
All right. So beyond the privileges established by the FCC. So the FCC is going to tell us what frequencies we can use, and like ARRL or whatever, it sets up the rest, what modes we can use so we don't interfere. And I think
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not a mandated list of schedules. That doesn't make sense.
No.
A list of scheduled net frequencies, that's nothing to do with a band plan. Plan devised by a club, no. It could only be a voluntary guideline for using different modes or activities within an amateur band.
Yeah, and that I don't think that's really established by the ARRL so much as maybe it's an ITU thing that we're coordinating with other countries on some of that as well. But let's just see. And you're correct, and that's what everybody in the chat room thought too. All right, one final question here.
Why should you not set your transmit frequency to be exactly at the edge of an amateur band or subband? A, to allow for calibration error in the transmitter frequency display.
B, so that modulation sidebands do not extend beyond the band edge.
C, to allow for transmitter frequency drift.
Or D, all of these choices are correct. So,
That's another common sense one to me. That's
yeah. Let's see, this is mine to answer. I'm going to say it's D. All of these choices are correct. What do you think?
I concur with that.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to be right on the very edge of a band, because if your transmitter's a little bit off frequency, you could be transmitting outside of your privileged area.
And not to mention certain modes use a certain amount of bandwidth.
And that's what B is there. The modulation sidebands are going to extend beyond.
Right. So you're going to be out of band, out of what you're licensed for.
Yep. And C, to allow for transmitter frequency drift. Some older rigs, actually will drift frequency.
Yeah.
Now you could go right on the edge of a band, and say you could go to the bottom edge of, say the 80 meter band. And well, no, let's pick another 20 meter band. You could go to the very bottom of it and transmit upper sideband, and theoretically you'd be within the band, but you just
well,
don't
if you had
wanna
an
do
older
that.
rig that may drift a tube type, or it's just not
It's not
a good idea to do that, because you could, without knowing, be over in the other band.
You could. I think we have just completed our section in the technician study questions for
for
band
frequencies.
plans, frequencies. So next time, I'm not sure what it's going to be yet because I have not looked that far ahead, but
I'm sure it'll be good.
it will be. All right, so why don't we get set up here, and we promised them to let them look at radios. So why don't we get some radios out here? And so we're going to look here first at my ID51A. This is the 50th anniversary edition, which I don't think there's probably any of these left, unless maybe a dealer somewhere still has some.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basically, same thing as ID51A Plus. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think so.
Except just, this one has a color on it. And it says 50th anniversary when it boots up. Anyway, let's take a little closer look at it here. We can see that on this handy-talkie, it's what we call a dual band. On the top band here, we're looking at a 2-meter frequency, 146 megahertz. On the bottom there, we're looking at a 70 centimeter frequency, 440 megahertz. And that's not all handy-talkies, but a lot of handy-talkies these days are dual band.
Yeah, most of them. Unless you're just looking for like dirt cheap, pretty much every other one's got it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a few just single band ones available.
Yeah, and practically all of them have 2 meters and 70 centimeters. There might be some 6-meter handy-talkies out there, probably very few.
Yeah, there's some that have 6-meter, and then there's a few of them that have 1.25 with a 220 megahertz range.
Yeah, and there's probably some 10-meter handy-talkies out there, but those are a little more rare.
Yeah.
Generally, it's going to be 2 meters and 70 centimeters. And when you get started as a technician, something like this would be a good radio. And there's a lot of them out there. This one's an Icom, but all the major manufacturers make them. Chinese manufacturers make them too. So there's a variety of stuff. This one just happens to be the best one ever made right here.
I can't argue with that.
No,
I love mine.
I know you can't.
Yeah.
I really like mine too.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't know the difference. I mean, I've been using a really cheap handy-talkie previously. I won't mention any
You really were.
names. I really was.
Okay.
But anyway, I've really been enjoying this one. So let's look now at an HF radio and look at what frequencies are on there. Right now we're on the 20-meter band on this one right here. We're operating in the upper sideband mode, which is typically on 20 meters where you'd be, but we won't really get into that at this point. To change bands on this rig, Tommy, what button do we push?
That's a good question.
That's why I ask you, because there you go.
For that one.
All right, you push the one that says 1.8 on it. It's a little hard to see on the camera here. That moves us down to the 160 meter band.
Yep. Then we've got the next one. We've
labeled 3.5, but that moves us into the 80 meter band.
Or 75 meters.
Excuse me. Yeah, 80 or 75 meters, depending on what you want to call it. There's the 40 meter band, 7 megahertz.
Yep.
So you see, we were way lower than the 146 megahertz that we saw on the handy-talkie there.
And I got one with a 10 on it here.
And that's 10 megahertz right there.
And 14.
All right, there's a 20 meter band. There's the, that's 18 megahertz.
21.
21 megahertz.
24. And 28.
28. And all these are HF frequencies.
And even though this is an HF rig, it's got 6 meters,
6 meter band in
which
it
is
as
a
well.
VHF. Technically, it's a VHF.
Yeah. If you look right here, you probably can't see it, but it says HF/50 megahertz.
Yeah.
Now
that's a fun band. We made some good contacts on field day.
We did. Now another thing to notice here, you're not limited to just these bands on here. I mean, as far as transmit, yes, but as far as receive, you can go to the 28 megahertz band here, you can scroll on down into the CB range and listen to CB radios on this thing.
Yeah, you just can't transmit.
Just can't transmit. Essentially, though, this covers a lot of ground here. You can go down to the 1.8 megahertz band, the 160 meter band there. You can go down into the AM broadcast band, listen to radio stations on here. You'd probably want to put it on AM to do that. Oops, I knocked you out of position there when I did that. But anyway, you can go down there and listen to AM broadcast. You can even go below the AM broadcast band on these.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to just listen to on here too.
Yeah, we'll have to do that one night. Hook up an antenna to HF rig and just listen. You'd be surprised at what's down here, aircraft or airport beacons and just all kinds of things. But HF radios are really nice receivers for hearing just a lot of stuff. Shortwave stations, beacons, like we said, just all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people. Actually, our buddy Wayne he'll flip his down, go into the 11 meter band. Sometimes traveling just to kind of hear if there's a traffic problem or something. It's a good idea because you can hear short things that have happened.
Yep. So there you go, a couple of different ham radios there. The HF rig, which goes, from actually 6 meter VHF on down to, I don't know how low. We got it tuned to 126 kilohertz there. There we go. Boy, this one almost audible. This one goes down to, look at that, 30 kilohertz.
Wow.
We can hear, humans can hear up to 20 kilohertz, so this one really goes low.
That's pretty low.
Yep.
Wonder what's down there.
Oh man, I don't know. My dog could probably tell you that.
Weather alerts then.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah. That's a nice rig too. I love the display on that thing.
I've recommended this rig to a lot of people here. IC7410. It's above entry level. It's a serious radio.
Yeah, I had one at the house for a while. The DSP, the audio quality on this thing's really nice.
Yeah, this sounds so much like the more expensive Icom radios. It's very, very similar. Anyway, someone's going to win this rig here. We're going to give it away, as you mentioned earlier, on AmateurLogic.
Yeah, so if you want to put your entry in, go to, what's the URL? AmateurLogic.TV/contest.
AmateurLogic.TV/contest. We should have it flashed on the screen here, but we don't.
Well, we can put it in the final product.
In October 2015, AmateurLogic celebrates our 10th anniversary. To observe this event, Icom and MFJ have joined us for a great HF station contest. We'll be giving away an Icom IC7410 HF transceiver along with MFJ coax, power supply, and antenna. Visit AmateurLogic.TV/contest for details.
Okay, so Tommy, I think it's a wrap.
All right. Well, let's go to that snack bar, man, and I'll see you. It's about this time next month.
Let's do that. And I'll tell you what, sometime, just before the 15th, why don't we do an AmateurLogic?
Let's do it.
All right. 73.
73, everybody.
Hi, welcome to I almost said the wrong show. First off, I think we should mention that whenever we're shooting an episode of Ham College. We've got a chat room going on. We've got a chat room going. It's not happening. That's what we talked about last time. But now we're going to talk about what we talk about this time. All right, let's go on to the next one here. What emission modes are permitted in the non-restricted subband?
Or in the mode restricted subbands too.
Maybe I should read that again.